Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were ever bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the X-RAD show, the talk show that gets you talking, also known on Wednesdays as the Zan and show, live from New York City. I'm Xander Gibb.
I'm Andrea Kaye.
Oh, yes, sir. On today's show, the hottest of topics, and in part two, talk show host CV Berton, and author, I should say, CV Berton joins us. More to come in a mere moment. So you can, my brain just died. You can tweet us. The tweet dates are on the X-RAD Facebook show page for today. And you can also comment in the live feed around the video. And we will endeavor to involve you in the conversation. Welcome back to the show, Andrea. How is the world with you?
Well, the world with me is sane and seemingly cool, even though we've got May Gray here in San Diego, but all around us, conservatives, you know, the sky is falling evidently for the left.
Yes.
Over everything, right?
Exactly. I was just doing a little bit of tweet catch up before I came on the show, and I saw that Ann Coulter was basically saying, let me get this right because it was kind of funny. What was it she was saying? She was basically saying, how dare Obama fire Comey without calling a certain judge in Hawaii? And I just thought that was hilarious, you know, to say the least. But yes, it is, it really is kind of a joyous time for us as conservatives. But I think the Dems are melting. You know, I think the snowflake effect is really kind of beginning. But am I sad about this? Absolutely not. You know, let's face it. President Trump said one of his biggest promises that he seems to be keeping is that he was gonna drain the swamp. And let me tell you, the swamp is kind of really being drained and then some. But you know, if Hillary Clinton had done this, they would have been praising her for it, wouldn't they? But you know, it's because it's Donald Trump that's done it. It's bad and it's not fair and it's incorrect, basically.
Well, exactly. I mean, you know, the Democrats, at least a few of them, admitted recently that Trump could actually go with them with the exact Obamacare bill, and they would turn it down. Because there is nothing that Trump is going to do that they know, even if it's their own policies, there's nothing that he can do that they will agree with. It's kind of like those man on the street interviews where they go around and they ask these kids, these college kids, they give, the latest was they went up to these college kids on the street and presented Trump's policies and his agenda to them, telling them that it was Obama, and they all dug it. You know, they loved it because it was supposedly Obama's. But Ann Coulter is so funny, isn't she?
Oh, she's hilarious.
He didn't get, you know, the judge's approval. Same thing with Schumer. Schumer actually comes out yesterday. This is a dude who was calling in November for Comey to be fired. Comes out yesterday and says, I told Trump this was a bad idea. And, like, he's shocked that Trump didn't do what he told him to do. I mean, you got to give a hat tip, though, to the Democrat fans, because even when they're in the minority, they still act like they're the party in power. And they operate that way. The Republicans could actually learn a little bit from that.
Yeah, I kind of think that we've been, as Republicans, we've been a little kind of like this, you know, with our head down for too long. You know, we have the House and we have the Senate. we have a Republican president in the White House, and it's time to own it. And if you can't own it, then what's the point? Because we've waited for a long time for this, and America as a whole has really been on its knees for 8 years, and is so in dire need of some, sane, logical, and kind of forthright leadership that's going to take us somewhere where we really need to be, because we've just been in the wilderness for 8 years, really.
Right. For many years now, conservatives have been, I don't want to say that we've been unhinged like the left is becoming, but for years now, especially after Benghazi in 2012, the left has been like, when is Hillary Clinton, first of all, when are the Clintons going to be off the stage?
Yeah.
Second of all, since Benghazi, it has been, when are these officials, when are Obama, the corrupt, criminal Obama administration people, Obama himself and Hillary Clinton and Eric Holder, when are these people going to be held accountable? An investigation gets, really dragged out. Gowdy allows it to be slow-walked, all that crap. Comey comes out in July and does what he did. The Republican Party en masse was so angry.
Right.
How in the world do we have, on top of all of that, how do we have the same people who are hashtagging Never Benghazi critical at all towards Donald Trump right now for pulling the plug on Comey? Should he have done it in January? I don't care when he did it. They should be glad that the man who has been hovering over the drain to try to keep the other swamp dwellers from going down it.
Right.
How in the world could they be angry at Comey for being at Trump for firing Comey?
Oh, the timing is just not right. I mean, the timing to me is actually irrelevant. And I get an idea that Mr. Trump was waiting for Comey to resign. Because let's face it, even his commentary the other day about, I was so nauseated by this. If you're nauseated by making decisions as the chief of the FBI, then you shouldn't be there. But this opens a whole catalog of things for me now, because it actually brings into question some of his decisions that he made while he was chief of the FBI. And I think now, yes, we're all into investigating Russian connections, and who drank vodka where and why. We need to have a fresh investigation into Hillary with eyes that are all to do with the law and not to do with politics or allegiances, because that's not what the FBI is all about. It should be about the law, and if the law is broken, then the person that breaks the law should be punished. Because by rights, Hillary should be sitting in a jail cell somewhere now for 10 years. And she's not, because of cronyism. And that makes me furious, because what does that say about America and what we actually stand for, when she can do the things that she's done and walk away scot-free and run for president? What does that say about us?
Well, I think that one of the reasons why what we know, what it says about us, what the American people know that the government says about where we're at right now, or says about us, was back in 2016. The American people elected an outsider. Let me say this more articulately. The American people elected an outsider in 2016 because they knew that what was really going on was it had become an us versus them society.
Right.
Where you had the Hillary Clintons, you had the Obama, and all of the corrupt, from Fast and Furious to Ira Costigan or whatever his name is. You had Lois Lerner, all these corrupt people continuing to get away with it. And you know what? Gowdy and all these other, big talking Republicans talk a good game and did nothing to hold anybody accountable.
Right.
So really, in terms of what does it say about us, what it says about us right now, for anybody, particularly Republicans, to be upset at Trump, and I'm hearing more and more from McCain to Burr to all these supposed, Ben Shapiro, or all these people coming out criticizing him. They're the same never-Trumpers. They want it to continue to be the us versus them. They don't want the swamp drained.
No.
They just don't.
Because they benefit from it.
And one of the things that they're upset about is that now the Justice Department, which has been their tool to use at will to push whatever their leftist agenda was, punish Republicans however they want, or cover up crimes however they want, they can't have that right now.
No.
You know what I say? I say let's have full investigations of everything. You want to investigate election interference? Let's investigate and hold Obama accountable for breaking the law, for interfering in the French and the elections. Okay.
Let's have it all out in the open.
Yeah, how about you want to talk about somebody being compromised by Russia? Let's talk about Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and Bill Clinton and how they line their pockets.
Right. Yes, because it's not too far a stretch to imagine that most of these people that have a problem with joining the swamp are actually part of that swamp and gaining something from it, which is also a concern. But I got it that people didn't like Donald Trump, but the thing is that once he was the candidate, and once he'd won the election, I think that whether there were Republicans that didn't like him or not, they should still have supported him. Because for me, it's a bigger picture than just how much you like the candidate. He wasn't my first choice, but as soon as he was appointed as the nominee, as soon as that was announced, I got behind him 250%. And I think that it makes you very stupid if you cannot see beyond the TV persona of Donald Trump, if you can't actually see who the real person is. Because I'll be honest, I had to take a step back. I really did, because I just saw this guy that was on the TV saying, "You're fired." But wouldn't that have been brilliant if he'd have put a video on YouTube, on Twitter today and said, "Mr. Comey, you're fired." That would have just been perfection for me, because I would have found a high level of humor in that. But I'm criticized by a lot of Republicans. It's only been since Donald Trump that I've been willing to call myself a Republican, because in all honesty, I didn't feel the party fully represented me up until the last year. Take that however you will. But I feel that those people that, are bragging, they're saying they're Republicans and they're bragging that they voted for Hillary Clinton. Why the hell are you still calling yourself a Republican?
Well, there's so much, craziness going on in both sides right now. It's like these Republicans, these constitutional conservatives that in any way, like I posted I know Trey Gowdy is a hero to many in the Republican Party, but his statement that he issued about Comey literally made me want to jab myself in the eyeball with a pen, because this guy, for all of his barking, it did nothing to hold anybody accountable. He aided and abetted Hillary Clinton with her crimes in Benghazi, negotiated with her to slow walk the investigation. After it was done, when he was asked point blank, he wouldn't even admit that she lied, let alone did anything wrong. And so his weak-knee comment about Comey today, thanking him for his service and all that, just really made my skin crawl. Nobody who cares about justice and calls themselves a Republican, especially one elected, should be in any way supportive of Jim Comey. They should be saying, you know what, I've been biting my tongue for that guy to be fired. And good riddance. Don't let the door make you nauseous as it hits you on the way out, Comey, because what he did was absolutely spit on the rule of law in this country.
Well, you were very polite, because I would have been really tempted to say, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, Comey, because that's exactly how I feel. And I think from day one, he should have been gone. And a lot of other people, because this draining of the swamp needed to be total, because I feel that a lot of these people that are still around, that are dregs from the Obama administration, are actually just part of the shadow conspiracy, if you will. And it makes it very hard. I've said this on the show several times. You've worked in the corporate world, Andrea. And how many times have you had new bosses come in and they fire everybody and they get their own people in? And the reason they do that is because they want to ensure loyalty. They want to ensure that people have, the same kind of picture of what needs to be done as they do. And I think that is not actually a bad thing. It's a shame for the people that work at these places. But, if you're the new CEO, then, a new broom sweeps clean. And I think there are a lot of people that are still there. Yates, the reason that Yates had a problem is because she was more politically fueled towards Democrats and the Obama administration, and she should have gone from day one. That's why we're having the problems with half of these people, because they have too much of an allegiance to Obama and to the Democrats. And if you're working in a Republican administration and you cannot be loyal to that administration, then you shouldn't be there in the first place, as far as I'm concerned.
And she basically did. She acted like she was one of the dictators in a row that asserted referred to that pesky Constitution as an arcane, document. So, yeah, she needed to go. And, and the reason why I keep harping on Republicans like McCain and others that, and Burr and even Gowdy and his weak-kneed statement is the reason, because I feel like they're aiding and abetting the Democrats right now.
They are.
Backlash to Trump. Right now for Comey, every time I turn on the news, I hear a Democrat saying, we must have a special prosecutor. There's a cover-up going on here because, quote, even Republicans like McCain and Burr are calling for that. So they're aiding and abetting the Democrats. They all need to be put on notice that they are considered swamp dwellers and
Yes.
need to go. When Congress only has a 50% approval rating, then, they all need to be on notice. I still don't understand how McCain and Paul Ryan actually got reelected. It's a head scratcher for me. Everybody in the Republican Party should be supporting Trump in his decision to fire Comey. And oh, by the way, let me ask you this, Dan. How is it, even if you don't get that what Comey did was so bad with the Hillary Clinton thing, how can we be, what does it say about us that we've got one man, an unelected appointee of one agency that is so important to so many people that he can't be fired?
Yeah.
That's not what this country is about. You
No.
see me, one dude?
No.
Come on.
No. Hey, the thing that really bugged me the most about, I've had people say to you, I get a lot of emails, and I had emails even yesterday saying, I think it's not fair that Comey was fired because maybe he was afraid that the same would happen to him as the other people that have crossed the Clintons. I'm sorry, but the thing is, if you're the head of the FBI and you're afraid of being got at by the Clintons, then put them in jail. Do you know what I mean? If they are that powerful in your brain, then if you put them in jail, how can they be powerful from a jail cell?
Well, not only that, but if you're operating from a place of intimidation like the Republican Congress has and continues to, even though they have the majority, anytime you're operating from a place of fear and intimidation, you're lost. You've lost already.
You're right.
And if you're fear-based, you've got no business in the intelligence community and no business in the law enforcement community.
No.
That's like a cop, who has lost his confidence being out in the field because he was in a bad shoot or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like maybe you need to get back behind a desk.
Yeah.
But Comey lost the confidence of his own people. Any lack of confidence right now in the Justice Department and the Attorney General's office and any of that was created by Comey and Loretta Lynch, not by Trump. And any agents that are sniveling and crying today because their boy Comey is gone are probably a part of the 90-something% that either voted for Hillary Clinton or donated to her campaign. Trump couldn't drain the swamp of everybody day one.
Right. No, it's too big a job.
But this is it's a good start. And in terms of corporate America, some of the people are saying right now, well, just a month ago, Trump was saying that he had confidence in him. Well, in the business community, you continue to act as though you've got confidence in your employee right up until the moment you fire him.
Right. But this is the thing that made me laugh today. I was going to say Andrea Kaye. Got Andrea Kaye on the brain. Kellyanne Conway, who was on with Anderson Cooper today. Anderson Cooper was making out that how dare Donald Trump dare change his mind. Let's face it, he's in a position where he has to make decisions every single day. And why can't he change his mind and take decisive action based on, information that is at hand? And the thing is that I just hate this ideology that this was the right decision, but it's seen as the wrong person. Because let's face it, the guy is the president. He has the right to fire the head of the FBI, and he did it. Suck it up, snowflakes.
Well, not only that, but some of it is just the fact that there's a liberal mindset that is a part of, and my mother works for the federal government, different agencies for 40 years. Nobody can be fired. My mother couldn't even fire somebody who literally got caught stealing on the job.
Really?
So the government worker union mentality is it doesn't matter how bad your performance is. We see this with teachers unions. But it doesn't matter how bad your performance is. You're just supposed to continue with the gig.
Right.
And they have an entitlement that they get to do whatever they want to do and have no repercussions from it. And this is at every level of our government system, whether it's a civil service worker at the DMV or somewhere, or at the federal, state, and local level, all the way up to the White House. No accountability for anybody.
But that's worrying.
Doing what the American people voted for him to do. They voted for him to drain the swamp. He decided somebody needed to go, and he pulled the trigger. And let me tell you, the easy thing for Donald Trump would have been to keep him.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was no easy decision because let's face it, with Donald Trump, he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. I just want to take a second and just say hello to people in the live feed because when they feel ignored, they tend to go away. So good evening to Jim. Hi to CV, who's going to be our guest tonight. Hey to Connie. Hi to Shyster. Hello, Joe. There's a gorgeous lady called Andrea Kaye. I don't know if that's someone you're related to. Hi to Joan. Welcome. Hi to Dave, hi to Zell, and hi to Gina, hi to Joan, I think I already said hi to Joan, hi to Sadie and Cassie, if you're still awake, big hugs, hi to Tim, who is my nephew, but obviously, I'm too young to have a nephew. That old. And who else are we saying hello to? I think it covers about everybody. Hi to everybody that's not in the live feed, not commenting. Come and join us. We don't bite, and you don't have to agree unless your name's Hillary Clinton, and then you're banned for life. So talking, please don't think that I don't like this woman. I don't hate her, honestly. I have an effigy by my bed with pins sticking in it, and I just, you know when she fell at the 9/11 thing, that was me sticking pins in the effigy I have of her. I'm joking, of course, because I am a comedian. But talking of Hillary Clinton, do you think now, Andrea, that they will reopen an independent what's the word? An independent. My brain just died. Investigation. Yes, into her. Or is it too late for that?
I don't know because I don't know that Donald Trump is somebody who's vindictive. I think he's somebody who went into office literally with a go forward, agenda to try to make America great again, and he wasn't necessarily looking to. Go backwards and relitigate some things. But, on top of it, as Susan Collins said, just the director was fired. I mean, the entire agency is still there, most of whom are liberals who voted for and or donated to Hillary Clinton's campaign. I don't know that there is the will. Every agency that we have is completely corrupted. I don't know that there is the will within the FBI to hold a Clinton accountable. I don't know that there is. I would like to think there is. I would like to think that maybe there has been enough done so far that Jeff Sessions, who is the AG, won't need them to do any more to, at least get a grand jury impaled at the very least. But I don't know.
Right. The biggest concern about this for me is that when you think about it en masse, what the Clintons have done over the past 40 years, they're career criminals. And just because they've been politicians, they've got away with this. And the concern for me is that there is no deterrent in all of this to stop other people, other politicians from doing these things. Because let's face it, there are people in jail, people that we know of, like Christian Saucier, who is in jail for a year in federal lockup for 6 counts of mishandling classified information, which is nothing. It wasn't even disseminated. And yes, he should have been punished, and yes, he should have been given the same as his peers were given. But a year in jail, and Hillary Clinton walks around haunting Chappaqua, and she committed 33,000 acts of mishandling classified information that we know of, and then destroyed all of the things that these things, the laptops and the phones and everything, the devices. Yeah, I've got brain fart tonight. I don't know why. But that really bothers me, because what it says is that if you're a politician in America, you can do exactly what you please. But if you serve our country, if you're a veteran, and you go to serve our country to keep us safe and free, you're kind of you're going to get chucked into jail for your first mistake.
Well, yeah, like I said, it is an us versus them society at this point, and the little people. And when Donald Trump said, not just drain the swamp on the campaign trail, but when he said in that debate, she blasted him for his temperament and he's not fit to be president. And I don't remember what was said before that. And he said, if I were president, he'd be in jail right now.
Yeah.
He had made a comment that basically at one point he made the comment that along the lines of that it was kind of the investigation was closed and there wasn't anything that they could do going forward. I think that a couple of comments that were made just in Comey's last testimony give me reason to think that one of the reasons why he's gone, maybe it's just wishful thinking that they're actually going to reopen things against her. The American people desperately want to start seeing some real, but let's talk about social justice, and we need to reform our justice system because it's just so unfair to minorities. Well, who it's most unfair to is every American when we have elected officials lining their pockets and committing crimes against the American people and walking free.
Absolutely. I think the American people deserve justice, and all these people saying in the live feed, lock her up. Yes, I think they do need to lock her up. I don't care that she's old. It makes absolutely no difference about how old you are. As if you've committed a crime, you need to be called to task for that. Because being a politician should be no fail-safe to not getting your ass handed to you for breaking the law. Now, I want to change the... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just started to say, and I was flashing on all these sheriffs and all these local people who were thumbing their nose at our laws as well.
Right.
Sanctuary cities.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a total concern, and I hope that it's addressed, because I think that this is a lot of unraveling. Hillary's commentary last week, the investigation last week, also Comey getting fired. It's really starting to happen, and I think that people would not be upset to think that she was in federal lockup for 10 years, and there are many people that would say she shouldn't be there, but she should. She broke the law. She should be subject to 10 years in prison or a fine or both. And she got absolutely nothing. So I think that justice should prevail. Yes, quite right, Jim. They had no problem locking up Martha Stewart for far less, and she did her time in prison. Go ahead.
And that was Jim Comey who did that, by the way.
Yes.
She went to jail for 6 months, not on the actual crime for which they were investigating. She went to jail for one lie. One lie she told the FBI, and they locked her up. And how many lies did Hillary Clinton tell in the course of the investigation?
She doesn't lie.
From the very act of just putting an unsecure server in a toilet and a bathroom in Colorado was a felony. It was countless lies that she told under oath to Congress, as well as the obstruction of justice. And then when they did finally have their little convo with her, they didn't even bother to put her under oath. And so Comey, I'm seeing now I'm getting really angry even recalling that. Where was Martha Stewart, though?
Yeah.
I was asking a couple of months ago when this whole thing went down, why isn't Martha Stewart coming out angry? Now, I don't know if you saw a picture of Martha Stewart the other day in an art gallery somewhere giving Donald Trump the bird. Maybe Martha needs to go back to jail.
Exactly.
There, I said it.
Oh, how dare you. So I want to talk about something else, because our guest will be bringing our guest on very soon. But this kind of alarmed me today, because a travel alert has been issued for Texas. Yes, I said Texas, by the American Civil Liberties Union. I want to spit, but we've just had the carpet cleaned in the studio. After the state's governor banned sanctuary cities last weekend. Now, the ACLU said the travel alert was issued to inform anyone planning to travel to Texas to anticipate the possible violation of their constitutional rights when stopped by law enforcement. And I was under the impression that one had no constitutional rights unless one was a legal citizen. Now, during a Facebook Live appearance on Sunday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law the SB 4, which says it's intended to keep criminal immigrants off the streets. Under the law, police can request persons immigration status during a routine traffic stop. law enforcement must follow all federal immigration laws and detainer requests. Now, those who do not enforce the law will face criminal penalties, including a civil penalty of up to $25,000 for each day of a violation, a misdemeanor for any sheriff, chief, or police constable who does not comply with federal immigration detainer requests, and the removal from office of anyone elected or appointed who does not comply with the law. Now, a travel warning, Andrea, what do you make of this?
Illegals, don't come across the border. Here's a travel warning to you illegals. Stay in Mexico.
Yes.
Don't come here. But this is so ridiculous. You know, we have become a nation of just complete lawlessness. This is what I was talking about before. First of all, there are all these people saying that he was a coward because he did it on Facebook Live. Like he doesn't have the right to announce it any way that he wants to. Because he was a coward because it was Sunday night and all the illegals are in church with their family. Okay, so I guess he was supposed to go to a church full of illegals and make the announcement. I mean, some of the criticisms are just, at Abbott are as unhinged as they have been over Trump and the Comey firing. All this man is trying to do is restore law and order. And you know what? Any elected official that doesn't want to obey the law should face fines and jail time, period. Right? It's crazy to think not. You and I have to.
Yes, exactly. But that's totally different. But I thought the Constitution was to protect legal people that were in the country legally. So there is no constitutional protection under the law for those that are in the country illegally.
Actually, unfortunately, I do think that once somebody crosses our shores, they do have constitutional protection. That's one of the reasons why
Really?
they come here. Yeah, actually they do. And that's one reason why this whole travel ban thing is a concern because, okay, once somebody comes here, they do have certain rights under our Constitution, but they don't when they're over in Pakistan or in Syria right now. No,
Right.
they don't. They don't have religious protections, for example, which is one of the things that the left is using to try to stop the travel ban. So, yeah, for example, when an illegal is caught here, they're supposed to have, due process or whatever. I mean, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but certainly there are constitutional protections that do apply to people, anybody who crosses our borders.
Well, you learn something new every day, but obviously they don't get the same constitution, because if you're arrested and you're an illegal, you don't have the right to a speedy trial as an illegal, do you? I'm sure.
If they're arrested in the commission of a crime, or if they're just, because we don't even bother to ask you can't even ask anybody anymore, I guess, if they're here illegally and ask for papers.
Right.
Although I had heard that this new law that Abbott signed did include, asking, for their citizenship if you stop somebody, if they, see somebody in the commission of a crime.
Right.
It's shocking to think that they couldn't even do that before. That's one of the reasons why it's so problematic with the 11 million people here is because supposedly in order to get rid of them, they would all have to go before a judge and plead their case because they now have, constitutional protections. I don't really understand it because I'm not a constitutional attorney. I say you pick up somebody and find out they're here illegally, they should be deported immediately. What do they need a hearing for?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's kind of interesting about all this talk about the wall, because all Republicans have talked about for 20 years is sealing the border. And then they would talk about some way to deal with immigration. So you would think that actually Democrats would be happy for a wall to be built because then they can at least have the conversation, right?
Well, yeah, but you would think that they would be happy about Comey being fired, too. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of rational thinking with the left.
Right.
You know what I mean? And guess how many countries, Dan, have birthright citizenship in their country to where get over there illegally, that you can have a baby and suddenly have citizenship rights.
Just one, I think, isn't it the United States?
Crazy. But yet we've got Mexico and all these countries calling us inhumane for our immigration policy.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. But I definitely think this is this is something that is on the agenda for the president to sort out, because even on the campaign trail, he was talking about sorting out illegal immigration, and I'm not violent, but every time I hear people say this country was built on immigration, I want to punch them in the face and say, actually, yes, it was, but it was built on legal immigration. And so I think that it's kind of a losing battle with Democrats, because I think they're either, terminally stupid or don't want to learn.
Or they've been learning at these great institutions like Harvard, that are now having black-only graduation ceremonies.
Absolutely. Yeah, I heard about that. But did you were talking on your show yesterday about the sexless MTV Awards. I was like, first thing I thought when I read it was, oh, did they used to have sex at them before? And then I realized they were talking about gender. But how ridiculous is the world getting? It's the liberalizing of America that's tearing at the societal fabric, as it were.
Well, yeah, and how stupid. What are they going to do now? What's the left going to do now with all these, vagina costumes that they had, and all these, pink hawks that were going on in D.C.? What are they going to do with them now? They can't use them for the next protest because now there's no such thing as gender.
Exactly.
They put some costume maker out of business now. I mean, what are they going to do?
Absolutely. So before we bring our guest in, I just have to share this with you very quickly. In my research yesterday about Bill Maher's commentary, I actually saw an interview he did with Elizabeth Warren where he called her Pocahontas, and that really tickled me. She was not pleased. She was not pleased. So I'm going to introduce our guest now and give him a call. So our guest today is native born Long Islander CV Berton, who is an author. He's written 2 novels and a book on how to draw. He illustrates books and comments on current events. He is a commentator on social media and has a podcast called the America First Network, and we are gonna call him now. You can tell I don't have a producer. You need to talk to DJ Carrot Sticks and ask him if he's gonna come and produce my show.
He would love to produce your shows, and you just got to keep him in Carrot Sticks.
Right, absolutely. Well, I could do that. That's pretty cheap. So please join me in welcoming for the show for the first time, the one, the only, Mr. CV Berton. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show. How is the world with you?
It's in conflict. Let's just put it that way.
It's in conflict. Do tell us why. And you're live with myself and Andrea, by the way. So welcome.
How you doing?
Hey, Steve. I'm good. Glad to hear that Long Island accent.
Yeah, exactly. Hello? Did we lose you? Hello?
Yes.
Hi, you cut out on us there. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm just outside. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Just while CV steps outside, I always find it interesting when we have people on from Long Island, and the first thing I always want to ask them is, how long is Long Island? I have a friend who lives in Long Island, and we went for tea at his grandmother's house, and she's got this really deep kind of Long Island action. So are you back with us now, CV?
Yeah, I'm here, and I could definitely detect an English accent in you somewhere.
With me, yeah, I was raised in England, so I've always lived between the two. So depending on how tired I am, I go from being like, really like deep American, or I'm kind of talking like this, So you can always tell how tired one is. But let's jump right into it. You're an author. You're a commentator. You illustrate as well. You're kind of like a jack of all trades. Tell us first of all about your writing. Do you write fiction or fact, or what grabs you, and what have you written about in your 2 books?
Well, I've written 2 novels a few years ago, and so I'm not a new author, so I'm not here to push a book. But,
Right.
What I've written is like science fiction, but takes place in modern times.
Right.
On Long Island.
On Long Island. On Long Island.
You got that right.
Right, absolutely. So
And so, but what I do for a living is illustration. You know, mostly children's books, some adult books. You know, not adult in that way.
adult books, eh? Tell us more.
Yeah, you're young adult, baby.
Yeah.
I started a podcast. I think maybe that's more of the reason why I'm on with you tonight. I call it the America First Network Debate. And I'm not really used to being live, but I feel like when I do these podcasts, they're like time captured in a bottle.
Right.
And I think debates have a long shelf life. You know, like people still watch William F. Buckley debating Gore Vidal from 1968. They're still watching it.
Absolutely.
They're still relevant, and they're still arguing the same basic core principles.
Right.
So that's my thing. My thing is debate. I like to debate. I'm like Bill O'Reilly in that sense. He's from Long Island, but he hides his accent.
Right. Just less accusations of sexual impropriety, I'm guessing.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said less accusations of sexual impropriety, though, I'm guessing.
Well, I don't think Bill is guilty of that. I think that's a big trumped up way to take him down. I think they're going after Hannity in the same way. And the left do not have any shame. And this is why I say my world is in conflict, because I find that I am fighting on all fronts all the time.
Right. I think we could agree with that, couldn't we, Andrea?
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt. Now, who do you feel like you fight with most, CV?
Well, you recommended me to debate Adam, what's his name?
Ostrin.
Adam, yeah. And he kind of ghosted me, you know. But I like to debate, you know, lefties. I like to debate never Trumpers. I'll debate truthers. You know, I'll debate anybody who disagrees with me. And for me, it's sport, but it's not for everybody, you know.
But don't you find when you debate with lefties and with Democrats, they're either so unwilling to see your perspective or start calling you a racist or a sexist or a homophobe, you know, even when race and sex and sexuality hasn't even come into it, that you don't really get your teeth into a good debate. Because I can disagree with people and still respect them, but I demand that they at least are willing to at least look at my perspective. And that's often the problem with Democrats, because they don't seem to be able to do that.
Well, my objective is not to change their minds, because I'm never going to change their minds. My
Right.
objective is to frustrate them. That's always funny. And also I think it's good for the audience, because what it does is when you destroy somebody in a debate, our side, who happen to be watching or listening, are pumped up. But the other side becomes demoralized. Whether they think they win or lose a debate, they know deep inside they lost a debate. They'll never admit it.
Right.
But it's demoralized, and that's how Hillary lost, because her base did not show up. Why? Because they lost the debate.
Absolutely. Now, I want to take you back just a little. You know, I know for myself, well, the reason I started doing a show is because, you know, I can talk forever, and I have a lot of opinions, and I wanted to share those opinions to make a difference. And I wanted to get people talking about issues. That's why, you know, my show was called The Talk Show That Gets You Talking. Why did you start your podcast, and what was your ideology behind it?
Rage is the number one reason. I'm just completely outraged. I think that's another reason why Trump won. A lot of people are angry. You have Obama, whose doctrine was reward friends and punish enemies. All right, he was punishing us. He was punishing patriots, and we were tired of getting our ass kicked. And
Right.
I get angry. And I'm sick to death of being called a racist. You know, I'm the youngest of 8 kids. I have like dozens of nieces and nephews of all races: black, Filipino,
Absolutely, it's an easy go-to, isn't it? I'm gay, and so many Democrats email me, message me via my website saying, "Xander, you're a homophobe." So I'm like, "Oh, so I hate myself, do I?" It's a real kind of, it's a real easy go-to.
Someone explain to me why they think Trump supporters are anti-gay. Can somebody explain that to me? Where did Trump ever say he hated gay people? Where?
I'm lost at that. As a gay person and a Republican, I couldn't support anyone that I felt was anti-gay. And the thing is that it's unfortunate that in America, I'm sure it's like it in other countries too, there are a lot of gay people, but there are a lot of stupid homosexuals. And the ones that seem to have supported the Obama administration didn't see how much he used them in things like same-sex marriage. And I get the impression that I would rather be living in America as a gay man where Donald Trump is the president than 500 Hillary Clintons. Because let's face it, she took money from countries that throw people like me from roofs. I mean, it would need to be a big roof to throw me off. But, seriously, if she can sell herself to the highest bidder, where would that have left us as a nation? Not just gay people, but everybody.
She's a huge hypocrite. And I would never support anybody who is anti-gay or racist. That's another thing. Xander said that Trump is, a racist. Can somebody please explain to me? Oh, yeah, he said anti-black. When did Trump ever say anything against black people, ever? I've never heard him say one word against black people, yet they riled all these black people up, against Trump and his supporters, and they're coming around, they're sucker-punching people, they're throwing M80s, which is a quarter stick of dynamite, into crowds.
Wow.
They're hitting people over the head with bicycle locks and whatever. And this is really, the left have no shame. They are violent, and we have to fight back because they're shutting down free speech. Anytime these crowds show up to shut down somebody's speech at a university, we now maybe not me personally, because I don't live anywhere near Berkeley or anything, but we should show up and punch them in the face.
Wow. I'm not sure I advocate that, but I definitely get your point. I don't think fighting.
Yeah, they're trying to deny people their Second Amendment rights.
Right.
And they're showing up with masks on. They look like ISIS. They're wearing black. They're throwing M80s. They're starting the fights. So we have to, in order to recuperate our Second Amendment rights and all other rights, we have to fight them back. And I love Based Stickman. Love that guy. And there's another guy, Based Spartan or something like that. I don't even know what based means. What does based mean?
I think it depends on the context. The first thing I think of, because I'm a fat ass that likes food, is with regards to when you're cooking a turkey, you baste the turkey, basically.
No, I don't think that's what they mean. I don't know what based means in that context.
No idea. What do you think it means, Andrea?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think that as much as that movement is a problem, I don't think it's the biggest problem that we have, honestly, because they're so out there that they kind of show what the issue is there. I feel like it's more insidious, the kind of what's happening in our universities, the indoctrination of our kids. We've got, like in San Diego, we're going to have the first Sharia compliant school system in the San Diego Unified School System.
Wow.
I think the creeping tyranny is more concerning to me than an outward movement that even though they wear masks, show their face,
right.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where was the investigation into Obama and his ties with the Muslim Brotherhood? They're talking about this Trump-Russia ties. He literally sat the Muslim Brotherhood on the front row of the speech he gave in Cairo. The Muslim Brotherhood's goal is to overturn the Constitution with the Quran. He brought them to the highest levels of our government. These are people that do believe in, we even literally have the New York Times saying, stop using the term female genital mutilation. We are in takeover mode from radical Islamists. There's creeping Sharia literally trying to take us over and turn us into Europe. And to me, anti-gay. In fact,
No.
the gay marriage, he invited transgenders to come to Trump Tower, and Caitlyn Jenner went when the whole transgender thing
Yes.
happened in North Carolina. One of his first executive orders was to uphold gay protections for gay workers in the workplace. That's crap about him being anti-gay. He's the one who went to the black people in the community in Michigan and elsewhere and said, "Hey, what do you got to lose? Vote for me." So, but the ties to Islam and the takeover, when we've got Linda Sarsour being given the VIP treatment, pro-Sharia woman at our universities, to me, that's the movement that scares me the most.
I totally agree with you, and the funny thing is, I actually during the run up to the election, I got an email from quite a famous actor who I'm not going to name, who said, "Oh, you do realize, Xander, that Donald Trump is against gay people. Don't you support gay people?" And I'm like, number one, I'm gay, and number two, I don't think he's against gay people, and I don't think I haven't seen one policy that attacks gay people or the rights of gay people. I mean, I'm gay, and I think they should not have put through gay marriage. They should have strengthened the civil partnership laws. But instead of that, the Dems use it as an opportunity to be able to have a go at Christians and make them comply, and that bothers me.
Yeah. Well, if you want to talk about racism and bigotry, look at Obama, who supports radical Islam. He doesn't just support Islam. He supports radical Islam. How do I know? Because he refuses to say Islamic extreme terrorism. And by not naming the enemy, what he's doing is he's lumping all Muslims together as one thing. And by doing that, he's giving the extremists cover. He gives them cover. And they say the exact opposite. They say, Trump lumps all Muslims together, and he calls them all terrorists. No, that's the exact opposite of what he's saying. He's
Right.
actually saying, no, it's not all Muslims. It's just this little section within the Muslim community. Those are the ones we have to go against. Oh, no. You're saying all Muslims are terrorists, and we can't say that. So he's trying to protect Islamic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
They're the racists.
So we've got a couple of minutes left. I just want to ask you very quickly, CV, what did you think today what did you think yesterday of the decision of President Trump to fire Comey? Was it a good move? Was the timing wrong? Was the person who fired him wrong? What say you?
Well, when Comey was being questioned, particularly by Chuck Grassley from Iowa, Senator Grassley, and he asked them, what about that email that Loretta Lynch sent the FBI telling them not to go too far with the Hillary Clinton investigation? And what Comey said was an undenied denial.
Right.
He said, I can't comment on that. It's classified. So he confirmed that there was something there. He said, I can't reply to that. So in other words, he was in collusion. Talk about collusion, which is the most overused word
Right.
in our dictionary today. The FBI was in collusion, particularly him, with Loretta Lynch, who was in collusion with Bill Clinton on that tarmac. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back right there.
Absolutely. The appearance of improprieties. Go ahead, Andrea. Sorry.
I was just going to say I agree that I think that his recent testimony is why Trump and the administration decided he had to go, and it might have also spurred on a decision to revisit the Hillary Clinton situation.
Absolutely. I'm going to start using that now. When people ask me what I weigh, I'm going to say I cannot comment because that is part of an ongoing investigation, and also that makes me nauseated and makes me want to eat. So we are out of time. Thanks to our guest tonight, CV Berton. Tell people where they can find you and when they can listen to your show.
Well, I'm on YouTube, which is also a very discriminatory platform. And
You're telling me.
They demonetized my interview with Andrea Kaye. Why did they demonetize an interview with Andrea Kaye? I don't get that. What is she? Is now Andrea Kaye a racist?
Yeah, she is, and she's homophobic as well, aren't you, Andrea?
I'm everybody, dang it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm on YouTube. You can search it under America First Network or CV Berton.
Absolutely. And all of CV's contact information is on the X-RAD Facebook show page for today. But for now, thank you so much for joining us, CV. You have a great week out there on Long Island.
Thank you very much, and I want you to come on my podcast.
Absolutely. We'll have to set something up.
We will. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Andrea.
Bye, honey.
Bye. That was CV Berton. Make sure you check him out. All of his contact details are on the Xrad show page on Facebook for this week. Thanks to my lovely and talented co-host, Andrea Kaye. Tell people where they can find you, and more importantly, when they can listen to your show.
Well, my show is on Tuesday, 6 p.m. AM 1170 here in San Diego. I record it during the day, and I'm on Facebook Live Tuesday mornings at 10. My favorite night of the week is Wednesdays. Nan, baby.
Oh, yes, sirree. So thank you so much for joining us, Andrea. I managed to catch your show yesterday in the Facebook live feed. A lot of conservative people, a lot of conservative broadcasts on Facebook are saying they're having a lot of trouble right now. And we're wondering if it's a conspiracy thing. What do you say, yay or nay?
I say yay, just like what TV was talking about with YouTube. It's like, why is it only conservatives that Facebook Live keeps going down in the middle of broadcast?
Yes, exactly. We're going to have to start saying that we're Democrats and then just broadcasting as conservatives and see if it makes any difference whatsoever.
Exactly. Thanks
Absolutely.
for having me, darling.
Thanks. Have a great week, Andrea. Lots of love. Take care.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye. That was the fabulous Andrea Kaye. Make sure you check her out at AndreaKaye.com. All of her contact information is on the Xrad Facebook page for today. Before you go, please click the share. We need to get more people viewing the show so we can go to a 2-hour show. So I want to see 10 shares at least while the music is playing. We will be back with you tomorrow. My co-host tomorrow is Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck, and our guest is David Weissman. So click that share button now. No, it doesn't cost anything. It is free. Click the share button now. We'll be back with you tomorrow. The things I have to do to get people to share the show. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were, they were bound to change when it was